Hi everybody, I'm Gio, and welcome back to my channel. We're going to do Chapter 9 today for The Dark. Nuestra Colony, Medical Center. Ian. Why is Rias so damn difficult? Doc yelled. I woke up. As I swung my legs off the bunk and my feet touched the cold floor, Doc stood over Rias' empty bunk, hands on his hips, and pulled out his datapad. Did you know about this? He yelled. Lights to full, I said. The room lights brightened. The floor was clean. No scrap, no diagrams, no mangled cart. No Rias. Only an abandoned bunk. I couldn't catch my breath. My only friend on this asteroid had left me here. Alone. Rias couldn't walk far, not with as weak as he was. What if he had fallen somewhere? What if he needed help? Why did he leave me alone? A box rested on his old bunk, with all the scrap pieces in it, next to a replica of his ship, the Dagger XF. My finished arm sat on a cart, fully charged, lights blinking, the muscles glowing. I walked over and picked it up. It was beautiful. Had Rias etched designs on every surface since I had been asleep? Where's Rias? Where would he go? I asked. Let's find out. Madre, medical override. Find Rias Travieso, Doc said, and sat on the edge of the bunk and sighed. I'm getting too old for this. Madre replied in a natural-sounding, emotionless female voice. Rias Travieso is in North Dome, Tower 7, at his apartment. Do you wish me to contact him? Damn kid. Doesn't he realize how sick he is? Doc yelled. Contact him. My right shoulder itched from the new collar. Doc had attached it late yesterday, and it should be ready for the arm. At least he cleaned up after himself, I said. Always does, Doc said, picking up the ship. Elias, can you deliver something? Doc's datapad beeped, and before Rias could even say anything, Doc said, You and your damn independent attitude always have to do things yourself. I want you back in this bunk in 30 minutes or I'm sending security after you. Rias was okay. My shoulders relaxed a little, but the rest of me remained tense. I'm sorry, Doc. I needed to go home. Rias' voice was tired, and his eyes drooped. He couldn't walk back here. Not in his condition. You need to get hooked up to the treatment. You just came out of a coma, remember? And there you are, strolling across the domes in the middle of the night. What if you passed out or got stuck on the tram? Doc yelled. Don't worry, Doc, I said, dressing. I'll go get him. I need to stretch my legs anyway. Before I left, Doc picked up the cybernetic work of art and attached it to my shoulder. It moved smoother than when I had tried it before. I twiddled my fingers. I flexed the elbow, rotated the wrist. There was no lag time between thought and movement. It moved as if it were my old arm. A lightness filled me. Hope? It had the sensitivity I needed to control a cargo hauler or a shuttle. I could pilot again. Rias does amazing work with machines, Doc said, but he's not so good with people. The 5 domes look small when you're flying above them, but when you're inside walking from one place to another, they are pretty big. They were nowhere as big as Campbell Station, but they were big enough. It didn't matter which tram I took. Eventually, they all traveled to each of the domes. The trams, once outside of the domes, gave a great view of all the machinery that kept the miracle domes functioning. Inside, it was a paradise. Outside, it was kilometers of pipes, tubes, and gigantic machines that did who knows what, and lots of little orange or yellow suited figures. Sometimes, I even got to see past the machinery and out to the asteroid itself. barren and rocky and charcoal gray. The people that first settled here must have seen a potential that nobody else did, and they made it work. Look at Nuestra now. Palm trees, ferns, every vegetable known, fruit trees, ivy everywhere. That was just the habitat domes. Someday I'd have to go where they got serious. The hydroponics dome. The Nuestran artificial intelligence, Madre, led me to the edge of North Dome, to Tower 7. Tower 7 was an older building, made of gray concrete and metal, with peeling paint and vines hanging from the cracks in the walls. Inside, it was a darker gray, with evenly spaced lights. This wasn't the white sterility of South Dome. North Dome was concrete gray and showed its age. It was so old, the main door of the apartment complex had a wheel lock. Medical didn't. I don't think any place in South Dome did. I rode the lift up a few levels and pressed the palm plate outside Rias's door. A buzz sounded inside. A minute later, Rias answered. He wore the same wife-beater and jeans as yesterday, and he leaned on his crutch. The tension in my stomach disappeared. Rias was all right. My oldest friend on this asteroid. I couldn't help but smile when I saw him. Pale, slightly shaking, bags under his eyes. He shouldn't have walked this far. Rias tried to smile, but only his exhaustion came through. Doc told me you're on your way. He's furious with me. Again. I'm surprised you made it this far, I said, stepping in and wrapping my arm around him so he wouldn't fall. I saw his apartment. So this was why everybody was upset with him. Various projects were on different tables, their pieces geometrically lined up. The furniture was very angled and machine precise. The kitchen was the same, exact and orderly. Everything was in rows. One piece of art hung above the sofa. A series of colored squares and geometric black lines, all lined up as if someone had used a laser. I bet Rias made that back in school. There were no dishes in the sink, no clothes on the floor. Everything was ordered, neat, and very tidy. Carruthers would love him. Gallagher would hate him. I didn't touch anything. There were lots of benches I could rest on, and once I got to the food court, plenty of chairs, Rias said. You live here by yourself? I asked. Rias nodded. His arm shuddered. I took him to the couch, and he didn't so much as sit, as fell into a sitting position. I am now. Dalila used to live here, but she's with friends. Dad died. I was in a coma. I couldn't take care of her, so someone stepped up. That's how it is on Nuestra. Then she's not with your aunt? I asked, looking around at all the space. Perlita? She can't stand us, Rias said, and leaned the crutch against his leg. He pulled his hand out of the crutch and massaged his fingers. She's too busy and too important, he said. So you have some room then, I said. My idea was only a little bit crazy. Maybe it was too daring. But would Rias go for it? Two rooms, actually. Why? Rias asked. We're both sick of medical. Would you like a roommate? I asked. Sitting up a little, Rias stared at me, and then at the rows of perfectly lined up parts. I'd love one, but I'd drive you crazy like I do everybody else. I don't mean to, but I will. That's easily solved. Leave pathways, and a space that is mine, I said. Do you have much stuff? Rias asked. You're kidding, right? Except for guacamole, the rest is scattered over hundreds of thousands of kilometers, I said, taking a seat next to him. Until my captain comes back, I can help you get to medical, or do whatever you need. That way, we are both not driving Doc into convulsions. I get to see Nuestra, and we both escape the Y walls. I think it's great, but why me? Rias asked. You're my oldest friend on Nuestra, I said, and my only friend. You saved my life. Let me return the favor. pick a room," Rias said, and his mouth broke into a grin. We left soon after for the food court and medical. Rias should never have left Doc, not with the way he moved, but I understand why he did it. At the food court, a lot of people came up to us, chatted for a minute, and I got to show off what Rias had built. "That one's even nicer than Zacharias's arm," a man said. Nuestra had a fraction of the people compared to other colonies, and it was tiny compared with Campbell Station. Nuestra colony was more like one big extended family. Everybody knew everybody. The weird thing? Off to the side of the food court was a replica of Nuestra colony, with the 5 domes, all the buildings inside, the spaceport, all the exterior machinery, the reactor, even scale models of the 2 shuttles. Guess who built it? Rias, according to the name plaque. I was 17 when I put that one together. If you come during night mode, Rias said, it lights up. Gutierrez helped me with the electronics, because some of the odd places required 4 hands to make it work. "Do you ever stop building?" I asked. Taking a seat, Rias slumped in the chair. The poor guy was exhausted. "Only when something needs to be repaired, or I sleep," he said. "I think you've done enough of that," I said. "What do you want? I'll go get it." "Chocolate chip cookies," Rias said. Rias, Nuestra Colony, North Dome, the food courts. I'll have to try not to drive Ian crazy. He's too nice a guy. Dad and Dalila understood me, made allowances, let me keep the place how I needed it. Ian doesn't know me. I don't handle disorganization at all. Ian walked to one of the lines, picked up a tray, and spoke with the attendants, giving me a perfect view of his well-muscled back as it stretched the fabric of the jumpsuit, or how the fabric hugged the outline of his glutes. I needed to pay attention to other things before I got too excited, and it showed. I pulled out my data pad and called my sister. She lived with the Asturias family in Tower 12 now, not far from Tower 7, but at the rate I moved, it might as well have been at the Azul Mines. "Can you talk yet?" Dalila said. "Enough to make you do your homework," I said. "I'm down at the food court. I thought I could visit you, but Doc sent somebody after me." "You escaped?" Dalila said. "Not very well. They caught me," I said. Dalila laughed. "Wait for me." Ian brought a tray of cookies and a horchata for me, then went back himself for enchiladas. A moment later, a large shadow hovered over me. "You sure got Doc mad this time," Emilio said, running his hands over his dreadlocks and tying them back into a ponytail. He set his tray down and pulled up a chair next to me. Emilio Sanchez lived in Building 3, a prime spot that overlooked the food court. Emilio was an uncle or step-uncle or something on Mauricio's side. A more accurate description. He was my godfather. Somehow, I had never noticed that night mode had changed to day mode. Breakfast time, and the place was filling up. "I swear people get mad at me and I haven't done anything wrong," I said. Emilio gave me one of his famous smiles, the kind that showed every tooth in his mouth. "Yes, you did. And you know it. Leaving in your condition, I'd never heard Doc use that kind of language." "I just had to get out," I said, and then my voice twitched and sounded pathetic. I needed to go home. Setting his tray down on the seat opposite me, Ian joined us. "Morning, sir." "Morning, Ian. Doc sent you to get him?" Emilio said. "Yep," Ian said. "We'll be roommates until the captain gets back." Emilio scooted his chair back and took hold of Ian's hand. "Look at that arm. Rias, you still surprise." "I still can't believe he built this," Ian said. Emilio sliced into his eggs. "That reminds me, the Orion's belt will be docking tomorrow and taking Mr. Gunther back to Campbell. You can say hi if you want, but Doc hasn't cleared you for jump space." "Makes sense," Ian said. "We haven't tested the arm yet, and I'm still not fully recovered." "Let's put you to work then. Tell me what you do," Emilio said. Pilot, inventory specialist, clean, lift weights. Anyone need a personal trainer? Ian said. Pilot. That we could use. How are you with the shuttle? Emilio said. Ian shrugged. They're pretty easy. Slower than a courier or a hauler, but more maneuverable. Basic point and fly. Nothing to it. I'd love to get back into space. I'll talk to Gutierrez and schedule you in the rotation. We have a lot of mines we watch over, and even just short-term we could use you, Emilio said. I ate 3 bites, and I was full. I guess I had lunch and dinner before me. I set the cookie back on the tray. What about me? If Doc won't let me travel the domes, I can't go back to the mines. In your condition, Carla would strangle me if I put you back to work. But if I let you sit around, you'll take apart a crawler and make it talk back to us. I have to keep you busy. Leaving the domes is out of the question. You need to stay close to medical. As much as we need help with South Dome sewers, Doc won't let you near it. Doc probably forgot to say this, but trouble with the marrow means trouble with the immune system. A healthy person can handle sewage, but you're light years from healthy. You can't go outside to deal with the purification plants or the reactor. That leaves tram maintenance, hydroponics, manufacturing, food preparation, or, Emilio smiled again, atmospherics. Do I get to choose? I asked. Nope. Your body chose for you. Most of the jobs are too physical. You can't handle that. You need a place where you can sit and work. Hector in North Dome Atmospherics need some help, and, better yet, he has a large empty workspace. It's close to where you live, close to the tram station, and close to the food court, Emilio said. Ian chuckled. It sounds like you're trying to keep Rias out of trouble. That's our Rias. If there's a problem, he's usually caused it, in the middle of it, or fixing it, Emilio said, his eyes crinkling and his mouth twerked into a smile. I'm glad you're alive. Atmospherics, that's something new. I forced another bite of the cookie. Emilio pushed his empty tray to the side. With your skill set, it shouldn't be a problem, but I need to run. We're taking the shuttle and dumping another load of concrete on the Addie's reactor. Ian, why don't you come along? Get familiar with the controls. As soon as I get Rias back to medical. I don't want Doc mad at me, Ian said. That's when Dalila showed up. 8 years old, as busy as I used to be, and smart. I can build things. She can calculate things. She's well above the other students her age, and when she graduates, she could go corporate or administration or anything. Rias, she yelled as she ran up and hugged me. Take my chair, Emilio said, taking his tray to the alcove. Thanks, Uncle Emilio. Dalila jumped into his chair, and I pushed my cookies over to her. Catch me up. Tell me about everything, I said. For the first time in days, I finally felt like I was going to be all right. Thank you for listening, everybody. Peace.